If you know that you're a people pleaser, listen up. So, unfortunately, you were the first one. Probably you were the first one in your family. You're the firstborn, probably. Because statistically, most people pleasers are firstborns. So, when you are the unconscious servant in your family. So, from an early age, you were trained, you were programmed to take care of the needs of others and neglect your own needs. So how this happened is that you were parentified. At an early age, you were assigned parental duties. You had to look after your siblings. You had to guide them to make sure that they're safe and everything like that. You were basically the mini parent. You had to set a good example for your siblings. You had to mediate fights whenever they're fighting and everything like that. When subconsciously you learn that your value depends on how well you perform, because your parents were always looking at how you perform. Are you doing your job correctly as the older sibling? Are you doing your job correctly as the firstborn? Basically, when you were praised for acting, for performing, you were trained to perform as a firstborn. You were trained to self-sacrifice your own needs. For example, you had toys around, right? And then your younger siblings they're crying for the toys now that you want to play. And now you're a child. So when you had to self-sacrifice your own needs and give them the toys so that they can be happy, and because you are the firstborn, it doesn't matter if you're happy. As long as your younger siblings are happy, everything is fine. You had to overachieve as the firstborn because you had to set a good example, right? You had to achieve good grades in school. You had to be a good child, right? You had to be a good example, man. In your surroundings, you had to set a good example. Even people who are older around you, they had to see you as a good person, as a good child. Subconsciously, you learn that love is earned through service. And you started believing, okay, when I stop people pleasing, then I'll be deserted, I'll be rejected. Another thing you learned when that you learn to fear authority. You learn to fear authority. Even your parents, whenever there are new rules, they have to be emphasized on you, right? If there is any misbehaviors that are happening, you have to be punished the most because the younger siblings, they had to see you. This is what will happen to you if you don't comply. Parents often practice stricter rules on the firstborns, right? So you learn that mistakes equal punishment. So you avoided mistakes at all costs. Subconsciously, you learned that your word depends on being flawless, on not making mistakes, right? You learn that if you're not perfect, then you'll be rejected. So your body was always in fight or flight mode, right? You're always stressed, always thinking, always over analyzing. You're overthinking, right? Because you're trying to make things right? You're trying to make everything right around you. And your mind and your emotion and your body, it fails, man, to feel to feel worthy without seeking it externally. You fail to feel self-worth internally because you have to seek it. You need to earn it from your surroundings, from the people around you. So obviously over time, you learn that having boundaries is wrong. It's wrong to have boundaries, and it's impossible to have boundaries if you're always looking to please the people around you, right? And the younger siblings, they were free to make mistakes. They were free to do anything they want. They had boundaries. They can say no, they can rebel, they can do anything they want. But you can't do that. because you have to be an example, right? You have to be perfect. So subconsciously, you learned that your needs are less important, right, than keeping peace. Your needs are less important than keeping peace. So you had to keep peace before you. There had to be peace around you before your needs, even if it comes at the cost of your own peace. You were scared. You were very scared to say no, because if you say no, that means you lose the love, you lose the validation. So saying no is a no-no for you. So when you learned to be an emotional sponge, right? You learned to detect the emotions of those around you. You are the one who take care of your parents whenever they're sick, right? You're the one to come in aid and help everybody around, right? To make sure that everybody's fine. You were trained to do that. It's not normal to self-sacrifice for other people. It's not normal to abandon your needs. It's not normal to abandon yourself and keep peace in sake. It's cost of your own. It like in cost of your own peace. That is not a normal thing to do, but you had to live through that, and you have to change. So this will manifest in your adulthood. In your adulthood, you will over apologize, right? You will over explain yourself. You will look for outside validation. You will have difficulty saying no. You fear conflict because you avoid making other people feel uncomfortable, right? And another thing, you'll have resentment because you can't communicate your needs. When it comes time for you to communicate your needs, you can't say it. You can't speak up for yourself, right? That's why you have resentment. So for you to change, for you to get rid of this disease, this mental disease, because people pleasing is a disease. So the first thing is you need to reclaim your inner child's voice, because you were denied the ability to be a child, right? The right to be a child and make mistakes. So you need to reclaim that voice. Go back in the introspect and find out where everything went wrong. And you need to practice being selfish daily. You need to practice being selfish and saying no. You need to know that the world will not go into a complete halt just because you fail to help someone who was in need. The world continues even if you can't help someone at the moment. It's okay to not be able to help someone who is in need. Set boundaries. Start now and set boundaries around your time, around your energy, basically. Another thing, the last thing is to do shadow work, right? For resentment, right? You need to go and take care of that inner child inside of you. That is what's denied, the need. That was denied the right to be a child. Right? And just forgive yourself for being a people pleaser. Being a people pleaser is a mental health condition. Yeah, it is a condition. It's not normal. It's not normal for you to abandon your needs and abandon yourself for the sake of other people, right? You even call yourself, you say you have a good heart and everything like that. You just learned to abandon yourself, and you need to start forgiving yourself for that. You are not Superman, and you need to stop being a superhero. You are not Superman. You can't help everybody. You just need to start being selfish now, right? With your energy, with your time, right? You are not Superman. You are not Batman. You are not going to come and save the day here and do all of those things, right? Peace.